Professor B here for 49ers Live NFC Divisional Playoff Recap on Niners Radio 49, part of the Satellite Digital Media News Network. Well, the season has come to an end for the 2025-26 season come to an end for your San Francisco 49ers as they were defeated ugly by the Seattle Seahawks. Their longtime nemesis as the Seahawks win it, the rubber match of the three-game set. They end up beating the 49ers 41-6. And this time it was absolutely not even close. The Seahawks dominated the 49ers from really all three phases. And it all started with Rashid Shaheed's 95-yard kickoff return for the touchdown that set the tone. It was a foreshadow the come as the Seahawks at one point scored 17 unanswered points through the first quarter. And they held the 49ers to only just 6 points in the last two games. 2 weeks ago, they beat the 49ers 13-3. They held the Niners to 3 points. Seattle scored 13. And then the Seahawks outscored the 49ers 54-9 in the last two games. So the 49ers hit was just not even close. So we will have Kyle Shanahan's post-game presser, his recap of the game. We'll hear from the 49er players in the locker room, and then we'll recap the game. And then and that will be it for tonight. We will have we'll recap. Then we'll have a recap have a full Niners recap press conference from the Niners locker room on Monday. And I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will have their final recap of the season on Monday. So, lots to do. We're going to hear from Kyle Shanahan right now. This was early tonight after the game in Seattle.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Alfred Collins had a shoulder. He returned. Chris McCaffrey with a stinger. Came back for a little bit, but we ended up taking him out. Jake Tonjes had a foot, didn't return. D. Winters got evaluated for concussion, got cleared.
What do you tell your team after this game and after the season that you had?
We obviously were real disappointed with today. We obviously didn't have it today. Credit to them. Try not to harp on that. I try to, we can discuss some of that stuff on Monday when we get back together, but I just answer on the first drive coming out, and we got stopped on 4th and 1 on that first drive coming out, and really after that, then the game was out of hand.
Your offense performed really well most of the season. Why do you feel it struggled so much the past 2 games against Seattle?
Because they got a really good defense. They got a real good defense. I liked how we came to play that first half a lot more. I thought we were much more ready. I thought we were moving the ball. But when you get stopped on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, nothing counts for it. And then the next time up, we had a turnover with the fumble. And then when we got stopped on downs in the beginning of the 3rd quarter, get back into it, and that team doesn't give up big plays. That's why they're number 1 in the league over the last 2 years and not giving up big plays. And when you get down a lot, and it's going to be tough to get back if you can't generate those big plays.
How do you think Brock played? I think he only had a couple sacks, but he was running for his life a lot.
No one played perfect. No one played great today. No one coached great today. They got us pretty good. So, but I thought Brock made a number of plays out there. But on the second half, it got away from all of us.
Obviously, this is fresh right now, but how do you process, the resilience you guys showed to get this far with all the stuff you had to deal with during the season and the way it ends tonight?
I'll process that over the next. I'm going to process that a lot tonight. I'll do it a lot tomorrow. I'll do that over the next month. You think about the season always throughout the off season. Tonight it's a little hard. I tried to articulate that to the guys so we didn't get caught up so much tonight. Like I said earlier, I'm very proud of a lot of guys in there, and we're extremely disappointed right now. But that doesn't take away for how I feel about the guys in there.
I know he didn't play, but Fred Warner wanted to play, and you had to kind of keep him at bay with it. He was in the box, came down at some point in the game to kind of get the team together. What can you just say about what he was able to kind of do out there to kind of help the defense to push through? Because they had a few plays where they were stopping the Seahawks offense quite a bit.
Fred was awesome in how he tried to come back and get ready to play for next week. But, nothing matters with guys coming on the sidelines.
Well, this loss is historic in terms of 49er playoff losses. Just wondering, to have a season end like this, do you just kind of flush it, or do you think that the imbalance of this loss is going to linger?
No, it's a loss. It's very understandable to see how it got away. We'll do that from a football standpoint, and you evaluate that throughout the offseason. But it was a tough playoff loss, but definitely don't make more of it than what it was. It was a loss.
3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 that you got stopped on. You've had a lot of success with Purdy sneaking there. What would just not like the look on either of those, or what kind of was behind the play call there?
Yeah, if the sneak was there, we would have done it. They take away the sneak, so we sneak it when it's there. And they played all the sneak. They took up all the gaps and then on the plays, and we liked the pass. And then on the 4th down, we thought we could get to the edge because they're all inside playing the gaps to take away the sneak. So we thought we could leave one on the edge to option, and we missed that. And there was 2 on the edge, which made it a problem to option them.
There's another question that you're going to have to think about some, but what you accomplished this season with all the injuries, the young players playing, does it lead you to believe what's possible next season? Do you start thinking about that?
I always will think about what's possible and stuff, and but it's definitely the last thing I've thought about. I haven't thought about that at all recently, and haven't thought about it all up to this moment. But a lot of guys got to play this year that haven't played in the past, and that should help us for the future. But we'll come in Monday, and we'll deal with all this stuff, put this game to bed, and deal with all the players, and then we'll very quickly start on our off-season plan and how to build this team the best way possible to give us a shot next year.
With Sam coming in with the oblique strain and not going through warm-ups, did you guys feel that you wanted to attack him? And is that pressure just hasn't been there throughout the season?
Yeah. I know Sam with having the oblique stuff, but warm-ups are like that, but it takes a while for the Toradol to kick in, so we knew he'd be fine once kickoff came, which that doesn't really have to do with pressure and stuff. That sometimes can affect how they throw, but usually when that Toradol kicks in, it doesn't. So Sam played really well today, but it was also just with the turnovers, the special teams touchdown, us getting stopped on 4th and 1 twice, which is the same as a turnover. That would actually, I think, be 5 if you count those. And it was a whole team deal.
What can you say about Christian and his ability to stay upright through a historic amount of touches? I'm sure there's stuff he battled through the season with.
I think this was one of the most impressive seasons by an individual player ever, just in terms of what a warrior and man he is week in and week out. Like, people to do that every week and to do it for 17 weeks in a row, not getting a bye week till December, and then to do it these last 2 games. Like Christian finds a way every week. He commits himself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to get his body possible to go out there and compete. And I've never been around anything like that. The dude was unbelievable, his dedication to really empty the tank every single game. And to be able to do that many games in a row is something that I've never really seen before.
Kyle, there's a distinct possibility you may lose both coordinators. What can you say about Sala and Kubiak and the job that they did this year for you?
They've been unbelievable. I love both those guys. They're 2 as good of coaches I've been around, and I know both of them will be head coaches, whether it's in a week or so or whether it's over the next few years. But we're lucky to have those guys, and for our sake, I hope that we'll still have them next year.
Would you let Kubiak go if it was a lateral move, if he had a play calling role as an offensive coordinator?
No. He calls a lot of plays here, so he's our offense coordinator. So I don't know why we'd let him be someone else's offense coordinator.
All right.
when they transitioned out, when they transitioned after Russell Wilson and all of the members of the Legion of Boom, the Niners started to beat up on the Seahawks, and then Mike McDonald takes over that team. They almost made the playoffs last year, and then you gotta take full advantage when you have the opportunity. The Niners twice on two different occasions here. Actually, you gotta take full advantage. Both times when they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they blew double-digit leads, and that's not good. That is not good going forward. And you look at Seattle was retooling that team, and and now they're now just one win away from one of their fourth Super Bowl in their history, and the Niners really got to do something with the offensive line. That's the bottom line. If they're going to be successful, they got to do you have a bear on the offensive line, and so we're now at 12:05, and we're getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. Just we'd like to thank all of you for watching. We'll have another edition of 49ers Live tomorrow. We'll do this like the we have the second part. We'll do the interview. We'll hear from the Niners locker room from tonight, from the players' perspective of the season, and then on Monday we'll have our traditional. We'll still have our final 49ers Live, the aftermath recap Saturday's game, and we don't know when Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will have their final presser for the season. So tune in to Niners Radio 49, part of the Satellite Digital Media News Network, on another when that will air. So wish all of you a good night. And for the Niners faithful, just hang in there. Niners fall 41-6. By the way, the 41-6 loss to the defeat to the Seahawks is their worst postseason defeat. You got to go way back to 1986 when the New York Giants, when they got smashed by stomped by the New York Giants in that NFC Divisional Playoff at the Meadowlands and at Giant Stadium, when Joe Montana got knocked out of that game with a concussion 39 years ago. So, they'll be. I can thank all of you for watching, and glad you guys enjoyed that 49ers audio cast from earlier this evening and out at the O'Reilly's bar here in the city. So we're gonna just call it a wrap from here, and thank you all for enjoying. And we'll have another edition tomorrow. We'll hear from the players on Sunday. We'll hear from the players and where the Niners go from here. So for the latest news on the 49ers, go to 49ers.com, and then check us out youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. If you missed this post game tonight, please you can watch it later on, Kyle Shanahan's presser. And once again, we apologize that we weren't able to do the full post game recap down at the O'Reilly's bar. It was just I felt it was some issue I had with one of the people who worked there. I did not like what was going on. I will not get into it at this time. I'm just gonna keep it, just let bygones be bygones, and but we will definitely probably try to in the off season. I'm gonna try to find a spot for next year to have a permanent post game, pre and post game, where we could do podcast shows live and try to make a name for ourselves, because that's what we're going to have to do. So we'll be looking around during the off season and find something locally, but I'm not going to mention the spot or the individual. I just want to let bygones be bygones. Just disappointing to how that ended, but we had a good audio cast and a great turnout. So in case you want to catch the replay of the game, I did the audio cast tonight. Just tune in. Just tune in. We could continue to build Niners Radio 49. And, hey, I really think if the Niners fix a few more things away, there's no reason why they should be back here trying to compete for a division title. And I think the thing is you got to win the division title to guarantee yourself a hosting at least one playoff game and get if you get at worst the number 2 seed, you probably could host at least 2 playoff games, maybe possibly the NFC Championship if some breaks go your way. So we're gonna call it a wrap from here. Thank you for joining us. 49ers fall 41-6. They finished the season 12-5 in the regular season. They finished 13-6 overall. The Seattle Seahawks will advance to the NFC Championship game. They'll play the winner of the Bears-Rams game on Sunday, and then other scores around the NFL on Saturday in the AFC Divisional Playoff. The Denver Broncos beating the Buffalo Bills 33-30 in overtime. Unfortunately, the Bills got big disappointment for the Bills, for Josh Allen, for the Bills, but the big news of that story, unfortunately for the Broncos, they're going to be out without Bo Nix for the rest of the season. He breaks his foot. I think it was his ankle, and he's going to miss the rest of the postseason, including the Super Bowl, which if the Broncos would advance. So, thank you for watching us tonight, and as always, Niners Radio 49 is a presentation of Satellite Digital Media News, where every team has a fan and every fan has a voice. The network home of champions. Professor B signing off. Enjoy the rest of. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.